Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Welcome into the Steelers Talk Live Show. I am your host, Jack Sperry. That is producer Jeffrey Cooperstein. We are 4-2 coming off a 19-point road victory today, Coop, on Victory Monday. And we got some great Steelers content to get to today here, folks. We got a bunch of great people in the chat. Already 100 people already watching live around the world. Shout out to Jacob. Shout out to Steeler Nation. Shout out to Kevin Reed. Shout out to Daniel Barry. Shout out to Hot Rod 24. Shout out to Brock Walker. Shout out to Colton.
How yin's doing?
How yin's doing today, man? All right, so today on the show, we got the latest news and rumors surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers. I got my takeaways from this Week 6 win versus Las Vegas. Also, I'm going to update my record prediction today, Coop. I think, we're 6 weeks into the season. I think we have a pretty good feel for what the Steelers, are good at, what they're not good at.
No doubt.
And then not only with the Steelers, but the rest of the teams in the league. And I think the landscape of the Steelers' schedule has certainly shifted from where we thought it was going to be heading into the season. So I'm very excited to give you guys my updated record prediction for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do the Steelers get the double-digit wins? Do they potentially win the AFC North? Do they make the playoffs? I will answer those questions in the second segment of today's show. Also, our live schedule, 5:30 p.m. Eastern is our normal time here on Steelers Talk, but Coop actually has something to attend to on Thursday.
I do?
So we are actually going to be going live 30 minutes earlier on Thursday. So 5 p.m. Eastern time is when we'll go live on Thursday, all right? So if you guys want to join us and be a real one and be at the beginning of Thursday's show, 5 p.m. Eastern is the time that we will start 30 minutes early. And then, of course, we got Sunday Night Football, our second Sunday Night Football stream in 3 weeks here, Coop. Hopefully it's not a 3+ hour pregame show this time like it was last time, but it was a lot of fun, man. We over the last 2 weeks, Coop, we have taken on the two biggest channels.
That's right.
In Chat Sports in a Super Chat battle, and we have won.
We have skull dragged every single one of them. We will continue to skull drag every single one of them. And that includes Marshall Green the following Monday as well.
Absolutely. All right. We appreciate you guys. So make sure you click that subscribe button and join us live all throughout the week. But before we get into the Steelers content today, guys, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And folks, we all know that experiencing a sporting event, especially a Steelers football game, whether it's home or away, live is unlike anything you can get from watching the game on your couch, especially at Acrisure Stadium with your fellow Yinzers waving those terrible towels in the air, especially during the winter. In my opinion, that's my favorite time to go. It's just a different energy when it's cold outside in Pittsburgh. It's AFC North football. And if you guys want to go see more Steelers games this year, guys, Game Time Picks is a brand new feature on the free Game Time app, which filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. And what Game Time Picks really does, guys, is it cuts out hours of research on a bunch of other ticketing sites to find the lowest prices and the best deals. All you have to do is download the Game Time app, go into the app, find an event you want to go see, select the Game Time Picks button at the top of your screen, and then it automatically filters through every single one of their guaranteed low-price tickets to find the best deals with the best seats so you never have to waste time researching ticket prices again. What I love about using the Game Time app is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, all-in pricing, so you don't get slapped with a crazy fee at checkout. I know how much I hate that. I'm sure you guys do as well. Plus, you guys can get flash deals. If you're someone like me who likes to get tickets last minute, you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to game time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the free Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS. It's right down there in the bottom right of your screen right now for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. And create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So listen, folks, yesterday on the watch party, we broke our record by a large margin for the most Super Chat donations, all this stuff, on a Steelers watch party in channel history. It was over $8,000, which is just so generous, guys. Thank you so much for all of your support. But today, we're not going to make a strong push for donations. If you guys want to send in money, you guys can go ahead and do that, but we're not going to do any special promotions today or anything like that. You guys have given more than enough to us here over the last 24 hours, so we don't want to get too greedy here. But we really do appreciate your guys' support. If you do want to send in a donation, we do greatly appreciate it. You can send it in via Super Chat. The way that you do that is you select the money symbol close to the chat there in the comments section. You send in a dollar amount. Or you guys can send your money to Venmo, Cashapp, or PayPal at Jack-Sperry on Venmo. Money sign Captain Jack 19 on Cash App or at Captain Jack Rabbit on PayPal. I will say we get to keep more of the proceeds if you use these channels right here. With Super Chat, YouTube takes 30% of every dollar you donate. So if you want us to keep more of the proceeds and more of your donation dollars to go to us, you guys can find me here. You guys can also take a screenshot if you're watching us on mobile. Oh, baby, Fernando Martin says, feels good to win. Wave that towel. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Appreciate you, Fernando. Thanks for the 20. We'll wave that towel whenever you want there, Fernando. We really do appreciate your support, my friend.
There's nothing like waving the towel on a victory Monday.
Absolutely. Well, on a victory Sunday, when you win, there's nothing better than waving that towel after a win.
Doubt.
You know what I'm saying? All right, I want to give a big shout out here to our Black Diamonds. We actually added quite a few Black Diamonds yesterday, but these are the people that have put in at least $500 on a singular stream.
We're up to...
we just got an update from Jordan Schultz on Zach Frazier. Suffered an ankle injury and is considered week to week, so that's relatively good news. There's no structural damage. Frazier has started all 6 games this season and has posted an impressive 82.2 PFF grade.
Nice.
So I just want to give a quick shout out here to our Black Diamonds. These are the people that have put in at least $500 on a singular stream. We'll talk about Zach Frazier here in just a second. But F. Sperry in the chat, still haven't gotten to a lot of these Super Chat stickers.
We're up to 80.
I need to get to them. But if you're a Black Diamond, you get a shout out on every single show. So $500, it's a big price tag, I know, but we got so many Black Diamonds. We got to keep it at least somewhat exclusive, guys. So thank you so much for all of your support. Big shout out to all of our new Black Diamonds that we added yesterday. Rebecca Hot Rod, Hot Rod's mother. George Pickensburg, Brian Hagan, 304 Ghost, Exify, and Colton. Thank you guys so much for your guys' support.
We're up to 80.
We're up to 80? That's what we're at?
Yeah.
80 Black Diamonds? That doesn't even seem like a real number, man. We're almost up to 100. All right.
Okay, maybe 70.
Coop, give some shout-outs in the chat for all the people that spam me. All right, so it's Coop.
Well, hang on. Let me build this social first.
Yeah, build the social. We're going to put it, obviously, like right when we talk about Frazier, like right after. So I'll put it right here. Don't mind us, guys. Just a little bit of behind-the-scenes action here at Chat Sports now that we have an update on Zach Frazier. If you guys didn't hear, Jordan Schultz says, source, Steelers rookie starting center Zach Frazier suffered an ankle injury on Sunday against the Raiders and is considered week to week. There's no structural damage. Frazier has started all 6 games this season and has posted an impressive 82.2 PFF grade. So listen, man, initial thoughts on that is that it's relatively good news, and it's what we kind of thought it was going to be, right? He was limping around. It didn't seem like it was a super major thing yesterday, but it definitely seemed like it was bad enough to keep him off the field for the rest of the game yesterday. And if I'd have to guess, I think he's going to miss this week's game against the Jets. But long term here, like I think worst case scenario, he misses the next 2 games, and then after the bye, he's going to be back healthy. So it says that he's considered week to week. We'll see what that ends up meaning.
Is our bye week after this, week 8?
Our bye week is week 9.
Okay.
So we have the Jets at home on Sunday Night Football, then the Giants on Monday Night Football,
right,
then we have a bye, then we have the Commanders on the road, which looks like a much tougher game than what it looked like at the beginning of the season. So, Coop, whenever you're ready, give some shout-outs to the people spamming me so I can put this out on Twitter.
Coop's giving some shout-outs here. Everyone type me down in the chat.
Coop's giving shout-outs.
I see Ali the Reaper, Ben Codeville, Gary Frank. Who else is in here? Steelers Nation 88. Let's ride. Hot Rod, what's going on, brother? Brian says, I think they will sit him for the next 2 and bring him back after the bye. That's probably what they'll end up doing, given if he's ready to go after the bye, let's hope. Cassie also types me. Kevin Reed says chat, as does Kareem Richardson. Braden, Vibin. What up, Vibin? We missed you yesterday, brother. We missed you yesterday. C-Dub, Dwayne Johnson. Ali DeRepa. Buddy Bear says you. You know what, Buddy Bear? You. Charles NVA is back. What up, Charles? Chofi says your dad. Let's see. Oh, Vibin, I hope you're feeling better, brother. Hope you're feeling better. Ali says, Coop, did he ever wear the dress? He did not.
We have to order the dress.
We have to order the dress.
We are ordering a cheerleader outfit for him to wear on the show. So he'll be wearing the dress once that arrives.
Cheerleader outfit?
No, he says he didn't. He said his one condition was that he didn't want any Steelers branding on it. So it's a black, and so it's like a black kind of cheerleader costume. But fair enough.
Fair enough, Mitchell. Vanessa, excuse me, is here. Hi guys. What up, Vanessa? Carla. What's going on? Brock Walker says, I heard AB was going to be at the game. I hope I get a pick with him. Is he going to be at the game on Sunday?
What's that?
He was at the Raiders game, wasn't he? AB was at a tailgate yesterday, I believe. That guy is an absolute menace to society, man. I mean, there's just no two ways about it. Shout out Kenneth Leonard Sr. coming in with a super chat. I'll get that up on screen here in just a sec, Kenneth. We appreciate you. Coming up on today's show, the latest Steelers news and rumors, including the latest on Zach Frazier that we just got from Jordan Schultz. Shout out to Schultzy. Congrats on your new job, Jordan. And then updated record prediction. What will the Steelers' final record be after 6 weeks? We are 4-2. Can they finish 15-2? I think they can.
$5 super chat coming in from Vibin with the Dogs. Kenneth Leonard, appreciate you. Says, sorry, my super chat don't work all the time. Kenneth Leonard, you don't owe us a single dime, man. You're already a black diamond. We appreciate the heck out of you, man. So whether you donate like 6,000, like Platinum did yesterday, or whether you donate nothing, right? We appreciate your support no matter what. $5 from Vibin with the Dogs coming in here. Says, I'm feeling better. Happy we got the dub. Torn on who should start. Fields is bad, but Russ ain't moving the needle. Vibin, I'm at the point here where I'm actually okay with whoever they decide to start. Am I curious if Russell Wilson could be more efficient in the drop back passing game? Yes. But also, Justin Fields does certain things that Russell Wilson just ain't doing, man. With his legs, with the playmaking outside of the pocket. I mean, Justin Fields at this point in his career, you can make an argument he's just a better option for the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially now that Zach Frazier is going to be missing time.
You certainly could. I mean, Fields makes the plays out of structure. Does Russ make the plays in structure more than Fields would? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a possibility.
It's not. The thing that gives me pause, though, is that it's not a guaranteed thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what you have in Fields, and although it's not perfect, like, it is leading to a 4-2 record right now. So, like, as long as the Steelers are winning, like, does it really make sense to make a change at quarterback,
right,
especially for a guy like Russ who missed, like, 5 weeks of practice? He's barely gotten any work in with this team this year because he's been hurt since the beginning of training camp pretty much.
We'll find out tomorrow during Tomlin's press conference what the plan is, but I think my guess as of right now is Fields starts this week. If he struggles again and the Steelers lose, I could see them going to Russ.
If they lose this week against this Jets team that's been struggling, I could see them going to Russell Wilson for week 8.
Where I think the change would be made is during the bye week.
Yeah, it's certainly possible, but I mean, if they lose this week,
I could see it.
I could see it happening.
And it obviously depends on how Fields plays.
Because Fields the last 2 weeks has not played well. I think he's completing like 56% of his passes or something like that. He's had multiple turnover-worthy plays, in my opinion, even though he hasn't had any turnovers, which is a lot of luck on the part of Fields, in my opinion.
He's fumbling. I mean, he's throwing the ball in harm's way, and so.
So, I right now I'm at the point where I think you can win with either quarterback. I think if you're saying that Russ can't survive beyond this O-line, he had a higher pressure rate last year and he put up similar numbers to Justin Fields is doing right now. So I feel like Russell Wilson would be just fine if he's the answer, but I'm also okay if they stick with Justin Fields because I think this team can win with him as their quarterback. So I think you got two pretty decent options at quarterback. I'm not anti-Fields and I'm not anti-Russ. But, I do think that it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out over the next couple weeks. I do want to answer this question,
are you the Highsmith?
The Highsmith question. Is he going to play this week? So to this point, he's only been a limited participant. This week, we'll see how he progresses. We might hear a little bit more from Tomlin at his press conference tomorrow regarding that. But I think it was Jerry Dulac said that they were hunting a return for this week. So
they need it because now Leal's out as well.
Leal's out for the season.
Yeah, so they need another edge rusher, especially if Herbig's
I thought Jeremiah Moon played pretty darn well. Right. He was all right yesterday. He wasn't an impact player or anything like that. But, yes, the sooner you can get Smitty back from injury, the better, for sure, especially when you have to go up against a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers.
Best play Jeremiah Moon made was the punt block. I mean, that was a huge play.
Yeah, a huge play from Jeremiah Moon. He got one of my game balls yesterday. Yeah. All right, man, without further ado, let's get into our coverage today. We got the latest news and rumors, my takeaways after watching the film yesterday on the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Las Vegas Raiders. We got over 242 people watching around the world right now. Make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon. Help the stream out right now. Let's get to 100 likes, and I really do appreciate your guys' support. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it right now. My takeaways from Week 6. Welcome into the second video of the day here on Victory Monday on Steelers Talk. And today I'm going to be breaking down my 8 takeaways outside of the quarterback position because we talked quarterbacks earlier. We will talk about Justin Fields a little bit on today's show, but just 8 general takeaways after watching the film from this week's win versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Can't wait to address them with you right here on the show. And also, guys, make sure you're watching out for a potential Davante Adams trade this week. I do think whenever Davante ends up getting traded, it's going to be early in a week, either Monday or Tuesday. So watch out for the next about 24 to 48 hours here, whether or not he could be dealt to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if Omar Khan is able to land Davante and he becomes a Pittsburgh Steeler this week, we're going to have wall-to-wall breaking news coverage. We're going to go live. We're going to be partying it up. So don't miss it, man. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button and go get it done, Omar. Okay, so my Week 6 takeaways here. So let's start with the offensive line, which did take a step down this week because obviously Zach Frazier got hurt, and just the overall film wasn't quite as good, especially from a pass protection standpoint, as it was in previous weeks. Now, generally speaking, and we'll go into the general PFF grades here in just a second. It's been pretty good for Pittsburgh outside of Broderick Jones. But you look at the Week 6 grades, and everybody on this offensive line kind of took a step down from where they're usually at. Except for Mason McCormick, the right guard, all right? Even Zach Frazier, who has been awesome so far this season, finished with only a 70.1 PFF grade this week. So it was his worst week of his NFL career to this point, but he's been stellar, and 70.1 is far from a bad performance. But Dan Moore Jr., who has been extremely solid for the Steelers so far this year, dipped all the way down to a 56.4. He had a couple really bad pressures given up. Isaac Seumalo had a little bit of an off day as well with a 61.9 grade. Ryan McCollum came in, played okay, I guess, with a 60.4, but that's definitely not going to get the job done. Then holy crap, man, Broderick Jones, a 49.4. And we're going to talk about him in a little bit here because he's been absolutely terrible. And unfortunately, in some injury news here for the Steelers, Zach Frazier is considered week to week with an ankle injury. It was just reported by Jordan Schultz here, saying, source, Steelers rookie starting center Zach Frazier suffered an ankle injury on Sunday against the Raiders and is considered week to week. There's no structural damage, so that's good news. Frazier has started all 6 games this season and has posted an impressive 82.2 PFF grade. And then also outside of the Frazier injury, Broderick Jones has just been absolute dog crap, all right? Let's just call it what it is. He has been awful on the right side of the offensive line. Now, a lot of people I know are going to say, well, he should be playing on the left side. He's a natural left tackle, and that's all fine and well. But right now, after the Troy Fautanu injury here, he's going to be your right tackle for the rest of the season. I don't think the Steelers are going to be replacing him. And you look at his pass block grade this week going up against Max Crosby. What? I don't know if I've ever seen a PFF grade this low ever. 24.7 pass block grade? Are you freaking joking me, Broderick Jones? You can't do better than this. I mean, we've seen the film. You guys have probably seen some of the lowlights on Twitter this week or in the last 24 hours. There were some bad reps from Broderick Jones on film in this Week 6 performance, and he's been bad all season long, but this was a whole nother level for Broderick Jones going up against a really good pass rusher in Max Crosby. Another takeaway I had here, and let's talk a little bit about the offensive line here, because I keep hearing that the Steelers' offensive line can't protect the quarterback and that they suck and that, Russell Wilson can't survive behind this terrible offensive line. But honestly, guys, I think that Justin Fields has at least some role to play in terms of the pressure rate that the Steelers have right now. They currently have the 6th highest pressure rate in the National Football League. And to be clear here, I do think Justin Fields has the skill set to make some plays under pressure and elevate the offense with his legs, with an ability to make plays outside of the pocket, all these different things. I do think that skill set exists with Justin Fields, and we saw that in this Week 6 matchup versus the Las Vegas Raiders, where he scrambled for a number of big plays with his legs. He made a couple big-time runs and also a couple of big-time throws outside of structure as well. However, the mental processor is still slow. The vision is still spotty for Justin Fields on film. All right, if it was something else and he was dealing out there, I'd be telling you something different. But right now, he has the 4th highest average time to throw in the National Football League. Okay, and a trend that I've noticed when it just comes to how fans interact with their quarterbacks. All right, and we saw this with Kenny Pickett, who had terrible pocket presence. All right, if you have a quarterback with bad pocket presence, usually the fans blame it on the offensive line because what they see is a quarterback being pressured. But like the best quarterbacks in the world, like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, all these guys with great pocket presence, Tom Brady back in the day, they can move and shift in the pocket and manipulate it, and they can feel that pressure to give themselves more time, whereas people like Kenny Pickett and Justin Fields, who aren't quite as good with the pocket presence stuff, the pressure gets to them more easily because they're not feeling that pressure. They're not shifting in the pocket the way that they're supposed to, and the pressure that does get to them gets to them more quickly, and they don't buy enough time. And the truth of the matter, when you watch the film, when you look at the numbers here, the offensive line has actually been pretty darn good as a whole this season. Now, this week was a bit of a step down in terms of pass protection, but you look at the overall Pro Football Focus grades of the starters of this current offensive line, it's actually been pretty decent, guys. Dan Moore Jr., 72.2 grade. That's way more than, in the top half of offensive tackles in the league this year. And by the way, the pass blocking grade for Dan Moore Jr. is even higher than that overall grade. Isaac Seumalo is ranking 15th among 75 guards in the league right now. Zach Frazier is one of the top 5 centers in football right now. So whenever he gets back, you know that he's going to be a great player for you. Mason McCormick has been just fine in his first couple games in the National Football League. And then we talked about Broderick Jones. I mean, Broderick freaking stinks, but everybody else has actually done a pretty good job. And actually, man, right now, Russell Wilson actually had a higher pressure rate than Justin Fields has had so far this year, and Russ and Fields put up similar numbers in their, compared from Russ to 2023 and Justin Fields and what he's putting up in these first 6 weeks. So I do think Justin does have a little bit of a role to play here in terms of the pressure that's getting to him. And also, I know people are probably going to say, Justin doesn't have enough weapons to work with here. The reason why he's holding onto the ball for too long is because he doesn't have enough weapons to throw to. And I'm just going to call cap on this a little bit, guys. Now, I know that it's not the most, explosive wide receiver room in the National Football League here, guys. I understand that. And the Steelers do need to go out and trade for another receiving piece. But right now, he does have 3 relatively reliable receiving options on this team for him to utilize. George Pickens, we know how talented he is. He has had some really stupid drops, but he's still a really high-caliber player. Calvin Austin III has actually been awesome as a route runner on film this year. He's getting open all the time, and Fields and Arthur Smith just aren't prioritizing getting him the football. He had a couple nice catches yesterday, thank God. And then Pat Freiermuth is somebody that's been getting reliably open in the short area of the field as well. So it's not like Fields doesn't have options to throw to, man. You've got 3 legitimate options here, plus you've got Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. Both are capable check down options as running backs as well. So it's not like Fields has nobody to throw to like I've been seeing on Steelers Twitter lately. That's just not true whatsoever. However, to be clear, Pittsburgh absolutely does need another wide receiver. Go get Devontae Adams. Go get DeAndre Hopkins. Go get somebody else to really complete this collection of weapons here in Pittsburgh. And by the way, use Calvin Austin III more. That guy can run like a mother effer. All right, now fill in the blank for me down there in the comments section. Justin Fields has been a top blank quarterback in the NFL to start this season. Has he been top 10? Has he been top 15? Is he overrated? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. And when that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Another takeaway here, going away from the passing game here. Najee Harris had his best game as a pro in the National Football League this past weekend. He looked like a legitimate star running back in this league with that performance against the Las Vegas Raiders, because like we talked about, the offensive line actually wasn't fantastic in this football game in terms of the grading, in terms of the film, but Najee Harris was making guys miss. He was fighting for extra yards. His vision was excellent, and you look at the average yards per carry for him, it was over 7 yards per carry, when before this game, he was sitting at about 3.5, all right? So this was not the Najee Harris that we have been accustomed to seeing throughout his career, and honestly, man, it was awesome. I have never seen Najee make guys miss the way he was making guys miss yesterday. He was playing with his hair on fire, and he made some of the best runs I've seen from any running back in the National Football League this year. However, he does need to do it more consistently, all right? It's like, great, Najee, you had one great performance. Now let's see if you can do it time and time and time again, or at least more consistently than we've seen it from him, because this was really his first true standout performance, really, if we're being honest, in his entire NFL career. All right, there's been other games where he's been pretty darn good, but not as good as he looked yesterday. So I'm hoping that this wasn't just a one-off. I'm hoping that he comes out the rest of the season, plays just like he did against Las Vegas, because if he does, the Steelers' run game is back and with a vengeance. So coming up here on Steelers Talk, more Week 6 takeaways after my film study from this Week 6 matchup versus the Las Vegas Raiders. But before we get into the rest of today's show, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area, wherever you guys live. And guys, we all know that experiencing a sporting event, especially a football game live, whether it be college or pro, is unlike anything you can get from watching the game on your couch. Whether you want to go see the Pitt Panthers play at Acrisure Stadium this year, or the Pitt Panthers are undefeated right now, man, they're playing great football, or if you want to go see the Pittsburgh Steelers sitting at 4-2, man, we know how crazy Acrisure gets on Steelers game days. If you want to go see more football games live this year, you guys can download the Game Time Picks, or you guys can download the free Game Time app and use their brand new feature, Game Time Picks, to filter out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. You can save hours of research finding the best tickets with Game Time Picks, as it uses its AI analytics to find the best tickets at the best prices, and all at the click of one button. What I love about using the Game Time app is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, all-in pricing, so you don't get slapped with crazy fees at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to game time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the free Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS, at the bottom of your screen right now for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account with Game Time and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Listen, man, I don't know if people really understand this or not, but Captain Cam Hayward, after kind of a down season last year, he was playing with an injured groin. He gets it surgically repaired this offseason. There's a lot of question marks surrounding Captain Cam heading into the year. The dude has been balling out. Okay, this guy has been absolutely unbelievable. He currently holds the highest Pro Football Focus grade of any interior defensive lineman in football. All right, this is somebody that people were calling washed. People were saying that he was done, that we should get rid of him. Cam Hayward has come out and completely shown those guys wrong. And just in incredible fashion. 25 tackles in 6 weeks, 3 sacks as an interior pass rusher, 4 tackles for loss. This guy is an impact player week in and week out. And yesterday versus the Raiders, oh my goodness, he made Andre James his freaking bitch. All right, plain and simply, this guy dominated the game. He had one of the highest grades of any defender in football this past weekend, and it's resulted now in the top PFF grade of any interior lineman in the game. Good for Captain Cam. He's been absolutely unbelievable to start this season. Then speaking of really, really good performances, Patrick Queen had his best game as a Steeler so far. He's been a little bit quiet to start his Steelers career. It looked like he was kind of playing maybe a little bit hesitant in the first couple of weeks, still kind of getting acclimated to this new system here in Pittsburgh. But yesterday, man, he had 13 tackles and a tackle for loss, man. And you could really see the sideline-to-sideline speed really show itself for the first time in a major way this season. Before, Patrick would kind of make sure he's in the right spot, not be too aggressive, not over-pursue, all these different things. Yesterday, he just played with a vengeance. He played with his hair on fire, and it led to really good results for Patrick Queen and the Steelers defense. He was awesome in the middle for the Steelers defense this weekend. Then, speaking of really good performances on defense, I mean, there was quite a few yesterday, not to mention TJ Watt, who's not on this list, but I think we all understand how special TJ Watt is. But DeShon Elliott just continues to shine, making open field tackles, getting tackles for losses, making big-time tackles in space. DeShon Elliott just seems to make a big play or two or three every single week. He's always around the football. He's been pretty decent in coverage, and he's been a really, really solid tackler for this Steelers defense this year, so kudos to the Joker for yet another solid performance. And now, here's another question. Okay, we're gonna blame Mike Tomlin, and we're gonna rip him a new one on Steelers Twitter for the last 2 weeks for the losses that they take. To get any credit for going on the road here and taking down a road opponent here by 19 points, does he get any credit for that? Now, I think that it should go both ways. Now, it's either you put, for all the people that put all the blame on Mike Tomlin for these losses, they got to give him all the credit for whenever he wins these games, too. Now, I think it's a more nuanced conversation than that, right? Mike's not playing the games for the Steelers and the players on the field. But, man, it definitely looked like after that first drive on defense, the Steelers defense really tightened up. It really looked like that they were able to make the proper adjustments to really dominate that football game, force turnovers, do the things that they needed to do to win. And honestly, man, I thought that it was a relatively well-coached game by the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin, and it ended up with a 19-point victory on the road in Sin City. And speaking of the point differential here, talking about 19 points here in Week 6, overall for this season, the point differential for the Steelers is plus 38. That currently ranks the highest in the AFC for any team. Now, obviously, there's Monday Night Football tonight. Maybe the Bills figure something out to just cream the Jets or something like that, and they end up being the highest in the conference. But right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers sitting at 4-2 with the highest point differential in the league, and you can thank that to the best defense in the National Football League. All right, guys, that'll be it for me today. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Again, if breaking news happens with Davante Adams or any other trade that happens, we're going to have breaking news coverage for you guys, so make sure you guys click that subscribe button. And until tomorrow, here we go, Steelers. First segment out of the way, Mr. Coop. I kind of like that segment.
They're going to cream him?
They might cream him tonight. But also,
they actually might.
We're going to talk about the game at the end of the show like we always do, but it might be closer than people think.
Yeah, man. I mean, when you fire a coach, they usually like to rally around him, and it could definitely give them some momentum for sure.
Absolutely, man. Okay, so coming up, we got my updated 2024 record predictions. We didn't get any super chats there, did we?
Nope.
I don't think so.
Sure myself.
But what did you think, and what are your thoughts?
Oh, speaking of.
Oh, there's Pat Lepla with a $2 super chat. Fields is getting better, in my opinion. Pat, respectfully, I think the last 2 weeks he's actually gotten worse. You look at his stats from the first 4 weeks, compared to the next 2 weeks here, in weeks 5 and 6, he's actually gotten worse. Do we still have that graphic? The list 4 with his stats from the last 2 weeks?
I can get it real quick.
Yeah, let's get that stat real quick because I actually think Fields hasn't played as well over the last 2 weeks. Pat, now, does that mean that they should definitely bench him? No. If they go with Fields this week, I'll be fine. I think they still beat the Jets. But I do think that he has slid a little bit these last 2 weeks, okay? And Coop's going to put up the numbers here to show you. Do we have both of them where we can see the contrast of the overall numbers?
Yep.
Yeah, let's do that. So before we show that, let's get the other one in there. So what we're going to show you here, guys, is we're going to show you, then we put this on our video earlier today, we're going to show you Justin Fields' overall 2024 season stats, all right? And then we're going to show you the last 2 games. Okay, and you tell me, Pat, if you think that if he's playing better. So here's the overall 2024 stats. This is all 6 weeks. Pretty good completion percentage, 66.3, respectable yards per game, 10 touchdowns, the 1 turnover. Looks great. You go to the last 2 weeks, 56, 10 percentage points less over the last 2 weeks in the completion percentage department. He has about 40 less yards per game. That includes his rushing numbers, by the way, and then total touchdowns. He does have 4 and no turnovers. But as we discussed on the show earlier today, Coop, he's had 6 turnover-worthy decisions, whether it be fumbles, whether it be throws that were like interceptions that were brought back by penalties, whether it be dropped interceptions. He's had a couple of those these past 2 weeks. I think Justin Fields hasn't played particularly great football as a passer. I do think he's shown some great stuff as a rusher and as a playmaker at times in flashes. But, the quarterback position in this league is all about consistency, especially for a team like Pittsburgh that wants to play they want to play. So it's going to be interesting to see how he plays moving forward.
The one that he threw out, was it in the flat where it was inaccurate? And if he had thrown it correctly, it was probably a pick.
Yeah, it was like a short out route or something. If he throws it accurately, it's probably a pick 6.
Yikes.
Against the Raiders, but it was thrown like 10 yards short, so like the defender had no shot at the ball. So that's bad accuracy and bad decision making on that one.
Not good.
So, I'm not here to sit here and trash Justin Fields or tell you that he's a terrible quarterback. All right, because he's not. I think the first 4 weeks matter too, and he's had games this year, particularly the Chargers game, where he was really good.
Mexican OT.
All right, but it's all about consistency. If the Steelers want to go to Russell Wilson, I would understand that decision, but I would also understand the decision to stick with Fields after beating a team by 19 points on the road. So, that's what I'm at. That's where I'm at right now. I'm a little bit worried about the decreasing completion percentage. I'm worrying a little bit about the increasing time to throw, average time to throw from Fields, and I'm worried about the increasing turnover-worthy plays from Fields, even though they're not turning into turnovers yet. All right, like that's my worry, Coop, is that eventually those turnover-worthy plays are going to turn into turnovers, and that's going to turn into losses for the Steelers.
Look, at some point, the ruck's going to run out, right? The luck's going to run out.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually an incredible run. Over the last 2 weeks, I have charted 6 plays that could have ended in a turnover for the Steelers based on Justin Fields and what he's done, and none of them have turned into an actual turnover, whether they're recovering a fumble or the defense drops an interception or the interception's brought back by a penalty, right? There's just a lot of things that, let's just call them lucky breaks that Justin Fields has gotten.
Absolutely.
That he has benefited from. Now, does that mean that he shouldn't start this week? Not necessarily.
No, I do think if it were me making the decision, I would say he starts this week. Now, if he plays poorly again and they end up losing, I would probably have to make a decision go from there. But as we stand right now, I would probably give the nod to Justin.
Yeah, and I want to mention this too, because we've been talking about the turnover-worthy plays and the bad stuff from Fields. Let's talk about the good stuff too.
Used his legs very well.
His legs are legit, all right? Plain and simply, he has elevated the offense a number of times with his legs. And not only his legs, Coop, but his out-of-structure playmaking.
Absolutely.
Like his ability to get outside the pocket to the left, flip his hips, and then throw an accurate football on the run is incredible.
It's very good.
It's one of the best in the National Football League. Now, I want to see more consistency from the pocket. I want to see better accuracy. I want to see better pocket presence. There's a lot of nuances that I want to see better in Justin Fields' game. But there's no question, man. He's got the physical talent that can elevate this Steelers offense from time to time. Couple super chats rolling in here. We got Mr. J says, if you start Wilson, you have to keep him in whether he's good or bad. You can't keep flipping QBs. It's bad for the locker room. So this is what I'd say, Coop. I think you can do one flip-flop.
I think you can do one.
You can do one flip-flop, okay? So what you can do, if you go to Russell Wilson, that would be a flip. And then if you go back to Justin Fields, that's a flop, and that's it.
Yep.
All right? I think, I keep hearing, people are in my replies saying if they go to Russell Wilson, Justin Fields' confidence will be shot. I'm like, well, I mean, if his confidence wasn't shot by a team literally giving up on him and trading him away,
then nothing
is going to shoot his confidence down, all right? And by the way, if your franchise quarterback is going to lose all of his confidence because he gets benched for a couple of weeks, that's not your franchise quarterback that you want to pay all that money to, all right? So I have no problems. with going to Russell Wilson at some point, and then if he stinks, going to Justin Fields.
Exactly.
And I don't think you can keep going back and forth, but I think if you go to Russ and then you go back to Fields if he stinks, you're perfectly fine. John Stevenson coming in with a 20. What's up, John? Says, I have a question, just wondering, is DK Metcalf, or if DK Metcalf was a free agent, would the Steelers want him? Yes.
Please.
Yes, they would. 100%. But he's not a free agent. He's Seattle loves him. Now, on Thursday Night Football, he showed some frustration with their offensive coordinator, and who knows what will happen in the days and months and weeks and years to come, but if Russell Wilson's your quarterback, I think that might increase the chances that Metcalf comes to Pittsburgh. I'll just say that. Got $5 from Jesus coming in. Says, Steelers fan here. I'm over Tomlin's loyalty. Fields is a running back, not a quarterback. We lost to the Cowboys because they outscored us. We need a quarterback that can throw. So, Jesus, man, I completely understand your argument, man. I have been worried about some of the things I've seen in the passing game from Justin Fields lately. Now, people will throw whatever excuse they want to throw out there. The offensive line isn't protecting him. He has no weapons. All right, we just talked about in that last segment why that's not necessarily true.
Fully agree.
Like Fields, like sure, those things play a part in it, but Fields, like at some point, man, if he's going to be an elite quarterback, like many of the Fields people say that he is, you're not always going to have a perfect offensive line. You're not going to have a fully stocked wide receiver room all the time. Just look at Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, or look at Josh Allen and the Bills.
Yep.
Like, you're going to have to overcome some of these roster holes at times. And, I think that there's more than enough here for Fields if he is a legitimate NFL quarterback to make it work and make it work well.
So, Pittsburgh fan 412, I don't think there's really a correlation here, but he says Justin Fields' stats worst the last 2 games. George Pickens pouting the last 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, George Pickens, let's face it, he's had some stupid, dumb drops that we have never seen from him ever.
He had 2
in the last couple weeks.
He had 2 really bad drops.
Yeah, 2 of them yesterday. And honestly, those were the only 2 drops of the game were his. And one of them was for a touchdown. Like, if he catches that one in the end zone, we're talking about Fields with 3 touchdowns total in this football game.
George Pickens is a whole nother problem that we may have to do another video on because...
Let's just say George Pickens may be gone a year from now.
I'd be surprised if he was on the team a year from now. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's kind of trending towards he's going to get traded in the offseason. I don't think he gets traded this year.
Nope, me neither.
Unless he demands a trade, which might happen. We don't know. But, I mean,
Who knows?
It's kind of like a George thing to demand a trade, so we'll see. But I think that will probably get traded in the offseason. All right, man, we got one more segment to get to. If you guys want to give your take on Russ versus Fields, you want to give your take on whatever, Devontae Adams, the offensive line, whatever, go ahead, send your super chat. Let's talk some Steelers, man. Absolutely. Okay, so while you guys are sending your super chats, getting on the show, let's have my official updated record prediction for the Pittsburgh Steelers. After I burp, let's get to it right now.
You're good?
I am good.
All right.
Today on Steelers Talk, I am going through the remainder of the Pittsburgh Steelers 2024 season, and I'm going to let you guys know how I think it's going to shake out. I think that the landscape of this schedule has really shifted based on what we know about not only the Steelers, but all of their opponents on their remaining schedule here. And I'm going to be giving you guys my updated record prediction for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do I think they get the double-digit wins? Do I think they win the division? Do they make the playoffs? All those questions and more will be answered on today's edition of Steelers Talk. Before we get into it, go down there in the comments section and predict it for me right now. What will Pittsburgh's final record be this year? They're currently sitting at 4-2. All right, so let me know. Where do they end up? Let me know your thoughts down there in the comments section. So let's take a look here at the results so far for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So they're sitting at 4-2. They won their first 3. They lost 2 in a row, and then they come back with a bounce-back win against the Raiders here in Week 6. So you're currently sitting at 4-2. So that is where we currently sit right now. So now let's go forward here with Week 7. Sunday Night Football versus the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers, and I'm going to project that the Pittsburgh Steelers win that football game, second straight win, in a row. Honestly, guys, my projections here honestly don't change all that much with Justin Fields or Russell Wilson, if I'm being completely honest with you. So I know I'm going to get questions about that in the comments. I think they win this game no matter what they do at quarterback. I definitely think that the Jets are a struggling football team right now. Steelers have a bunch of organizational stability. The Jets don't. Steelers are at home. I think it might be a close game, but I think the Steelers end up taking this one with a dub. Then we get to Week 8 versus the Giants. I'm going to take the win against the G-Men here. Daniel Jones stinks, and he is the worst quarterback in the NFL when pressured. Steelers, we know that pass rush is going to get to him. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the worst game of Daniel Jones' entire NFL career, and Marshall Green throws his headset again. Then we get to Week 9, that'll be the bye. So sitting at 6-2. So it's very possible that the Steelers are sitting with a 6-2 record heading into the bye. And if that's the case, you're really setting yourself up for success and a potential playoff push here as the season goes on. Plus, you get Cam Sutton back at the end of the bye for the Week 10 matchup versus the Commanders, and I'm going to have them take a loss to Washington. And the reason why I have them taking a loss is because Jaden Daniels has been stellar to this point in the season, and as good as the Steelers' defense is, I think that Jaden Daniels can create problems for the Steelers' defense. I think that he can rip apart zone coverage. I think that he can evade pressure very well. He's got great pocket presence, really good accuracy. They've got some really nice receiving weapons there in Washington. I think it's going to be kind of a shootout in this one, and I'm just not sure if the Steelers' offense is going to be able to keep up with the Washington Commanders on the road, so give me Washington to win in Week 10. But then you bounce back with another win here with your first matchup against the Ravens. We know the Steelers take the Ravens' lunch money. I mean, come on now. It's at Acrisure Stadium. It's going to be a fun game. It's going to be physical. Two really good football teams, but I think in a close one, the Steelers find a way to pull out the dub. Then we get to Week 12, and you get to the Cleveland Browns. And, I think a lot of people, talked about this portion of the schedule, and they were like, oh, man, you got to play the Browns twice, the Bengals twice, all these different things. Well, coming up here, we're going to be breaking down the home stretch here. 2 games against the Browns. We got a Bengals game. Of course, the playoff push is coming up here in just a second. But before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And if you guys want to go see more Steelers games this year, a brand new feature from our friends at Game Time is called Game Time Picks, which filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. It saves you hours of time, hours of research, going on a bunch of different ticketing sites, comparing prices, finding the best seats for you and your family. Game Time Picks makes it super easy, man. All you got to do is download the free Game Time app, go to an event you want to go see, you select the Game Time Picks button at the top of the screen, and it automatically filters every single ticket in their database to find the best prices, the best tickets, the best seats for you and your family, so you don't have to spend hours doing all the research yourself. And another thing that I love about using Game Time is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, all-in pricing so you don't get slapped with crazy fees at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to the event. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app. It's free. Create an account and use code CHATSPORTS, one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS. It's right down there in the bottom right of your screen right now for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply just for that first purchase. Again, create an account on the free Game Time app and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So we get to Week 12 here on the road versus the Browns, and let's face it, man, whether it's Jameis Winston, whether it's Deshaun Watson, whether it's P.J. Walker, whether it's anybody, random Joe on the street, the Steelers are going to win this football game, man. Like, just plain and simply, this offensive line is a complete mess. Nick Chubb is coming back, but behind that offensive line, I think this offense is completely screwed for the entire season. Myles Garrett is playing hurt. Like, this is just a complete dumpster fire of an organization. It couldn't happen to a better franchise, in my opinion. And I think the Steelers take the dub on the road. But then I think you take the loss to the Bengals. Bengals do have a high-flying offense. I think that Burrow has seen the Steelers scheme a lot. I think he knows how to attack it. I think he knows the weak spots in it. I think he knows Tomlin's tells a little bit. And on the road, I think that the Bengals, or at home, the Bengals will end up winning that one in Week 13. But then, in week, I believe actually this is Week 14? This is Week 14 versus the Browns. I'm going to have them sweep the Browns because I just don't see any way that this Browns team puts up points against the Steelers, whether home or away. Usually if the Browns were a little bit better, I might project them to split because usually AFC North matchups are very, very interesting, very physical, and they could go either way, but not this year, man. Steelers going to dominate the Browns. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. We got daily and free Steelers videos for you guys to enjoy here on Steelers Talk. Breaking news coverage every time Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin make a big roster move. Weekly live shows twice a week, plus every single Steelers game day for our live watch parties, and it's all 100% free. There's a reason why we have been the fastest growing Steelers channel on YouTube for the last 2+ years, and now we now have over 63,000 Yinzers already subscribed to the channel. So if you want to join our family and get Steelers videos every day, make sure you click that subscribe button right now. We get to week 16 here versus the Baltimore. I think we actually we skipped the Philadelphia Eagles. So I'm going to say that they lose versus the Philadelphia Eagles. So we just didn't have the graphic for that. Week 16 versus the Ravens, though, I think they lose that game as well. The Ravens on the road. I know that the Steelers usually take their lunch money, and trust me, I know that, but they have a new guy in their offense this year, Derrick Henry, and we know that the Steelers' rushing defense can be a bit hit or miss this season. So I think on the road, I think the Ravens take the win there. Then I think that the Steelers lose again in week 17, so a little bit of a losing skid here to finish out the year. To the Chiefs. Now, if that's a weather game at Acrisure Stadium on Christmas Day, maybe, we talk about Najee Harris potentially being the reason why the Steelers win that. I'm not going to count the Steelers out in that football game, but I also think that Spags' defense is going to confuse whoever's playing quarterback that week. But then I'm going to have the Steelers win and split against the Bengals this season. Finish out the season with a win after 3 straight losses, and hopefully you're heading into the season here and then the postseason. Feeling pretty darn good about your chances of coming away with a W. Final record prediction here. I'm going to go 11-6 for the Pittsburgh Steelers here. I think that this is definitely something where I think the Steelers have a good football team. They might be a bit limited with their offense this year, but the defense is great. I think that the organizational structure here is really, really good as well, with Mike Tomlin being here for so many years. So many people familiar with the organization have stayed here for a very, very long time. And I think that as the season goes on, the offensive line's going to get better. Hopefully they trade for another piece before the trade deadline. Quarterback play is going to get even better, and you're going to end up with a double-digit win total yet again, which should get you into the playoffs for the second straight season, which would almost all but assure Mike Tomlin is back next season. I think the only way that Mike Tomlin ends up leaving the Steelers or the Steelers fire him is if they don't make the playoffs this year, they don't get double-digit wins. But based on the schedule remaining, with the teams that they got on here, with the way the Steelers are playing right now, I still think that this team is on track to win double-digit games this year and make the postseason in 2024. So let me know down there in the comments section, what's the percent chance that the Pittsburgh Steelers win the AFC North this year? Put it on a scale of 0 to 100. 0 meaning no chance they win it, to 100% meaning they're definitely winning. I'm expecting to see a lot of 100s in the chat, but let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section about the Steelers' chances to be crowned Kings of the North. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribed, because if there's breaking news action, whatever the case may be, we're going to have a video for you guys, breaking news coverage. Also, we got Steelers videos every single day. The same pitch I gave you earlier, everything still applies right now. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button yet, what are you waiting for? Take care of that business right now, and I'll see you guys later. All right, so we got through our segments here. We did get some super chats.
Yes, sir. We'll get right into those.
So we'll get into the questions. Percent chance the Steelers win the AFC North this year, Coop. I'm going to give them a 40% chance.
I was going to say 30.
Because, I think the Ravens are a really good team this year. The defense is a little lackluster, but they played really well and they against a really good Commanders offense yesterday, and they seem to really be hitting their stride right now. It'll be interesting to see how the division records play out. But let's just face it, man. Right now, the Ravens have a more complete team than the Steelers do. I think the Steelers could. I'm not going to count out the Steelers potentially sweeping the Ravens, and if they do sweep the Ravens, I think they win the division.
That's the whole thing. Is the division's decided in the last 7 to 8 weeks because we don't play a division team until week 11.
Yeah, so it's a little bit crazy. That last kind of stretch is going to be very, very interesting to me. I'm going to say 40% chance. I think that's more than fair. I really don't think the Bengals or Browns have any shot. I mean, maybe Bengals.
Well, we know the Browns don't.
Bengals maybe like a 5% chance or something. I don't know.
The Browns are an absolute.
The Browns are 1-5. Their season's over, and everyone knows it.
The Browns have a better chance at getting the number one.
Money well spent, Cleveland. Money well spent.
Guaranteed, by the way.
Guaranteed for Massage Boy Watson. What a joke.
I don't know. For those of you that don't know, he is guaranteed $45 million next year as well.
Absolutely. They might have to cut him and eat his contract like the Broncos did with Russ this year. We got Jesus coming in here with a 10. Appreciate you, Jesus. As 16. Whoa. Steelers going to win the rest of the games of the year.
We're going to the Super Bowl.
I mean,
we'll see you in New Orleans.
We'll see you in New Orleans if that's the case, man. Let's go. I do think that they're going to lose some games. I mean, they've lost 2 games already to teams they should have already beaten. So, like, when they play, like, legitimately, like, really good teams like the Ravens and Bengals and Chiefs and all these different teams, are they really going to go undefeated in those games? I think he's being a little bit facetious here.
Why not?
But, I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe Russell Wilson comes in and lights it up, and then they win the rest of the games of the year. I don't know.
I'll tell you what. If they did that, that would make me feel nicey.
Nicey. $5 super chat from CWK, one of our Black Diamonds, says, I just want to point out that Justin Fields leads all quarterbacks in rushing touchdowns.
Oh, my gosh.
And is number 5 overall in that category. Yeah, so we said this yesterday on the show and then earlier today when we talked about Fields. His legs, especially in the red zone, have been such a weapon for the Steelers. And if you take that away, like, you are relying on Najee Harris and Jalen Warren to get in with those rushing touchdowns now. You are relying on Russell Wilson to be an extremely efficient passer from the red zone because you don't have Fields' legs anymore. So that's certainly part of the equation when it comes to Fields. And, the rushing element of his game is certainly the best element of his game. And you can make the argument it's the best element of the Steelers' offense this year.
It is such a weapon, especially in the red zone as well, where you're trying to figure out whether they're going to hand it off to Najee or they're going to try to drop back and pass. Now you have to account for Fields rushing it as well. It just adds another element and gives the Steelers another dimension that most teams don't have from their quarterback. So,
yeah, absolutely, man. And, I think that when it comes to the Fields-Russ discussion, it's about what do you want to prioritize, right? Do you want the quarterback run game to be the best part of your offense, or do you want potentially the drop-back passing game with Russell Wilson to be your best asset on offense, right? It's definitely a balance, and I know the Fields people will say, well, Russ won't have success as a drop-back passer in Pittsburgh, which is a fair point. I mean, I certainly can't guarantee that Russ would be better than Fields.
No.
And that's part of the risk in going to Russ and why I'm perfectly okay sticking with Justin right now. But we play the Jets next week, Coop, so we get to have a little bit of a scouting report here tonight with this game against the Bills. They are home. And if they win this game, they are technically tied for first place. And really, they have the tiebreaker, so they would be first place in the terrible AFC East this year.
They're home. They just fired their coach this week, so they have an interim. They took away play calling duties from that fraud Nathaniel Hackett, so that probably improves them on offense. I'll be interested to see what happens in this game. The Bills have looked human. They haven't looked great this year. I still think they're the better team than the Jets, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if the Jets ended up winning.
Yeah, we saw it last year with the Raiders, right? When they fired Josh McDaniels, everybody rallied behind Antonio Pierce, and they played the best game they had the entire season that next game. And I remember, our Raiders host, Mitchell Renz, was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
We have to keep Antonio Pierce. He's getting fired up.
And it's like, eventually the honeymoon phase is going to end, but the Jets are in the honeymoon phase right now. Things are exciting. Things are new. Things are fresh. I think that Jeff Ulbrich is a really, really good football coach.
He is.
They got rid of Nathaniel Hackett as their offensive play caller. That might have a huge impact on the Jets. You laugh, but
I don't.
Nathaniel Hackett, just ask Russell Wilson. He's the worst play caller in football. He was even worse than Matt Canada, if you'll believe it.
How do you think it makes Hackett feel that he's still on the staff, but he got demoted?
I mean, what? The only reason why he's still on the staff is because he's Rodgers' buddy.
Yeah.
Like, honestly,
you're right.
if Rodgers isn't the quarterback, his ass is grass. It's gone.
Will he get another job in the NFL?
I don't think so. I don't think they bring him back. Whatever their new head coach is, I doubt they bring him back. And I don't think he gets a job. I mean, maybe he's a quarterback coach somewhere. Maybe. But I think his days as a play caller are done.
What do you think the Jets do that could mess the Steelers up? Like their offense, what do you think their offense does that could give the Steelers problems?
The Jets defense?
No, the Jets offense.
The Jets offense. I mean, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Listen, man.
He's still good, man.
Listen, man. A lot of people have been trashing on Aaron Rodgers this year. And listen, man, he hasn't played top 10 football this year. He's still easily a top 15 quarterback in the league. He still has excellent pocket presence. He still moves pretty good for his age. He's still relatively accurate. He still has the great arm talent. Now, he does. The thing about Rodgers, and the reason why this offense hasn't worked, Coop, and why it hasn't clicked, is because Rodgers really relies on timing chemistry routes with his guys, and he hasn't been on the same page with Garrett Wilson. He hasn't been on the same page with Mike Williams all season long. And he needs guys like that. This is why, by the way, this is why young receivers don't work well with Rodgers, because he has to develop that trust and that chemistry, because this offense is predicated on kind of like trusted chemistry type routes. And that's why Rodgers wants them to go get Davante Adams, because they have that chemistry. They have that language together. So I really think that the Jets, if I were them, I'd be pushing for Davante Adams. Personally, I'm going to go with the Bills to win. I think it's actually going to be closer than my score prediction. When I was thinking about it earlier, I had 24-13 Bills. I'm actually going to change this here. I'm going to say 27-24 Bills win.
27-24. I like that. We'll get to my score prediction here. I just have to update the Super Chat thing real quick. My score prediction was based on the fact that I really didn't factor in the whole like new coach spark and whatnot. So I picked the Bills. I went 21-6. Bills win.
And another thing to keep in mind is that the Bills have played 2 weeks of bad football.
Really bad football.
So
I know. I have Josh Allen on my fantasy team.
I mean, a lot of the things, are kind of, pushing me towards New York here. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets win it. Let's get into some of these super chats here, man. If you guys want to get on the show, make sure you super chat and we'll get you on the show. He says the reason why Fields, the way he is blamed, the Bears, the kid, remember the game 3 years ago versus the Steelers. He almost beat the Steelers. Give it time. I mean, we're in year 4, man.
Yeah.
Fields is in year 4. How much time do we want to give him?
Year 4, and I believe this is...
And it's like the answer to that question, Coop.
Third different play caller, right?
What's that?
Third different play caller?
Third different play caller. No, I get what you're saying, trade Roley for. Give Fields some time as the season progresses. But, man, the thing is, Steelers are trying to win now. All right, this isn't a rebuilding thing. This isn't them drafting a first-round quarterback and them being okay winning 6-7 games in the first year of a new regime, right? This is a year where they want to make the playoffs and they want to make a run for a title. All right, and, if they think Justin Fields can do that, great. If they don't, you got to go with Russell Wilson and at least see what you got. But, like I've said throughout the show, man, I understand the argument for both sides. And honestly, I'm okay with whatever Mike Tomlin decides to do this week. I don't think it would be a catastrophe if they went with Russell Wilson. I don't think that this offense would be completely terrible with him under center. I don't know, maybe that's just the Russell Wilson fan in me, but I also think that this offense is functional with Fields.
Exactly. I think it's functional with Fields as well. And if you're still winning and he's doing enough to keep this offense afloat, there's no reason to switch off him. Now, if they play like shit against the Jets and they end up losing that game, do you consider a switch?
Yep.
Maybe you stick with Fields, and then if they follow that up with another bad game against the Giants, then you make a switch.
I'm actually going to make a prediction here, Coop. I think we're going to get another Tomlin-esque answer on the quarterback position tomorrow, where he's not going to name Fields the full-time starter, but he's going to say Russ was a little bit rusty last week, and depending on how he plays this week, we'll make a determination of who we start.
Yeah.
And then they end up starting Fields. I think that's what they're going to I think that's what they're going to do. I don't think they're going to name Fields the full-time starter because he has played some bad football these past 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
I don't know if they feel comfortable committing to him for an entire season at this point.
Yeah, I don't think they do either. I guess we'll see what Tomlin Tuesday has to offer.
Absolutely. $5 super chat from Elevate LT says, I want Cordero Patterson as GM. LOL. He seems like he wants Adams.
He's putting the full court press on, man.
I mean, he has been tweeting out a lot. Now, I don't know how that makes George Pickens, Calvin Austin III, Van Jefferson, those guys feel, because like their teammate is actively advocating for a replacement to come in for them.
That's true. I didn't even think about
that,
really.
At the end of the day, I think Cordero Patterson just wants the team to win. And honestly, if those guys have an issue getting a guy in Davante Adams that can help this team win and go to the next level, I mean, get those guys out of here, man. I don't want those players on my team.
Patterson he never played for the Raiders with Adams, right? They're just boys?
Nope.
Yeah, interesting. That's
well, he did play with the Vikings, and he played against Adams for years when he was in Green Bay.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they know of each other quite a bit. $5 super chat from CWK says, I feel like a bunch of people are Michigan fans because they hate Fields. So many people because he's from Ohio State. I don't know about that, CWK. Like personally, man, like people call me a Fields hater just because I'm willing to criticize him. If I say that was a bad play by Fields, I have people in our watch party chat saying, Sperry,
quit being a hater.
Quit being a hater. And stop nitpicking.
And then
I'm like, it's literally my job to nitpick. It's literally my job to look at the film and tell you whether it was a good play or bad play.
And then when he makes a great play, they'll be like, stop deriding Fields.
Yeah, I mean, the way I like to put it is that if you're being called a Fields dick rider and a hater at the same time, you're doing your job right. All right, you're doing your job right. And I've been called both within the last 48 hours, all right? So
now, this is one of the most unique super chats that we've gotten on this channel.
I tackled my wife when she said, let's go, Jets.
Steelers for life.
What? I mean, I think he's joking. I really hope he didn't tackle your wife.
I hope your wife is okay.
I hope this is a joke, 1110 Shamir, but we appreciate the $20 super chat.
Damian Roy says, Broderick Jones moves like he has cement in his cleats.
I mean, Broderick,
he is a joke.
I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen. I think the only PFF grade I've ever seen lower than Broderick Jones's pass block grade this week was Emmanuel Forbes' pass coverage grade in week 1, which was like a 17.
When I was building the graphics today, I literally had to message Sperry and be like, is this the right number? And you were like, yep.
24.7.
Oh my God.
That is doo-doo garbage, baby. Like, he sucks at right tackle, man.
Would Spencer Anderson put up a better number? I'm being serious. I'm not joking.
I mean, I don't trust Spencer Anderson to play right tackle, especially against some of the edge rushers that line up against the RTs nowadays, man. $2 super chat from John Stevenson. What's up, John? Says you two do a great job.
Shout out, John.
John, appreciate you, man. Cheers. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for talking Steelers with us, man. You're a real one.
Joaquin Lugo says, let's say Russell Wilson starts. He doesn't even have weapons. Pickens, Pat, and barely Austin.
Well, hold on. Before you even finish that, he does have weapons.
He does.
Okay? I'm tired of people saying there's literally nobody in this offense. George Pickens is a hell of a talent. He's had a couple bad drops, but let's not pretend that George Pickens is a nobody, okay? Then you got Calvin Austin III, who gets open all the time on film.
Fields just doesn't see him.
All the time, but he's just such a tiny target. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Pat Freiermuth, who's such a good short yardage threat. He gets open a lot in the short yardage game. Plus, you've got Najee and Warren, who are both reliable receiving backs. There's no excuse for Fields in the terms of the weapons department. All right?
Disagree.
Do the Steelers need another weapon? Yes. Are they is the cupboard completely empty? No, it's not. It's not. I'm tired of people using the weapons as an excuse for Fields. If Fields makes a bad play, the bad play is on Fields. Okay? Like, if nobody's open, it's not on Fields. But if he has guys open, and he has guys open right now, it's at least a little bit on Fields.
Absolutely.
I'm tired of people making the excuses. And by the way, you know who people make excuses for? Quarterbacks that aren't good enough. You know who overcomes adversity? Guys like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. These guys have had multiple times in their career where maybe the offensive line wasn't great. Maybe they didn't have the best set of weapons in the league. Maybe their offensive play caller wasn't fantastic, and they were still putting up high-end production.
That's words of wisdom right there, man.
So it's like, I just don't get I just don't get it, man. I like Fields. I like his skill set, but let's acknowledge when he plays bad football. Can we at least acknowledge when he plays bad? Please. First time super chat from B Chill. What's up, B Chill? First time super chat. Let's give us a Ric Flair drip. Woo! Appreciate you, B Chill. We got a Booze Duck. Oh, a Booze Duck.
Hold on. We're going to trade Rolly 4 first.
Okay, trade Rolly 4 here says, truth be told, Fields had nothing around him for the past 4 years. He had DJ Moore the last year. I'll say that. He had no choice but to run. He carried the Bears on his back with no weapons. Well, DJ Moore was one of the best, is a legit number 1 receiver in the league.
He is.
So
he also didn't carry the Bears on his back because they didn't make the playoffs.
Now, it is fair that the offensive line play there was not great. But like I said with the Steelers today, Fields contributed to a lot of the pressure issues in Chicago because he holds the ball forever. Like if you hold the ball for a long time, that means there's more time for the pass rush to pressure you. But regular NFL fans do, Coop, is they see somebody get pressured and they automatically blame the offensive line.
No, he just held onto the ball.
But it's like, was he holding onto the ball too long? Was he shifting in the pocket correctly? Was he feeling the pressure and buying more time for himself? Fields doesn't do those things particularly well because he doesn't have great pocket presence and he holds onto the ball for a very long time. He's always done that. So those two factors lead to a high level of pressure. No matter where he goes, he could go to the Philadelphia Eagles and he'd still be top 5 in pressure rate.
You're probably not wrong, man.
Because he just holds the ball forever and he doesn't shift in the pocket unless he's running or he's scrambling. And that's a big hindrance to his game, in my opinion. $10 super chat from Elevate LTs. $10 super chat, appreciate it. She says, I like Fields for his running ability. Russ would actually play better with a better O-line. If the O-line is going to play like this, start Fields. Not sold on him yet, though. Appreciate you, Elevate LTs. Thanks for the $10. Listen, man, I love Fields' rushing ability, too. It's my favorite thing about his game. He can elevate an offense. Elevate. He can elevate an offense with his legs at any given moment. We've seen it with him having 5 rushing touchdowns this year, right? He's been such a weapon for the Steelers in the red zone, and that's one of the biggest selling points on him, in my opinion. 100%. Now, in terms of the offensive line, I will say, the Zach Frazier injury might change this dynamic, Coop, especially if he's out for multiple weeks.
Yeah, that could definitely change things.
But overall, when Frazier's been healthy, this starting offensive line has actually been pretty good. Do we still have that listicle? Can we show the overall PFF grades? Now, Broderick Jones has been awful, okay? Everybody in Steelers Nation, coaching staff would probably acknowledge that he has been awful. But everybody else, Dan Moore Jr., well above average in terms of the PFF grading among offensive tackles. Isaac Seumalo has been solid as ever. Zach Frazier, top 5 center in the league his rookie season when he's healthy. Mason McCormick has been very solid for a 4th-round rookie.
And he's only played, 2-3 games?
And he's only played a couple games. And then, yes, Broderick Jones freaking stinks.
We know that already.
We know that. But the rest of the line has been pretty decent.
What do you do with Broderick, man?
And by the way, the thing that great quarterbacks do, and I'm not saying Russell Wilson would do this, because Russell Wilson has better pocket presence than Justin Fields, but he also holds the ball for too long. I don't know, man. It's just I just don't want, if people want to say Fields is an elite quarterback, you can't use the offensive line and the weapon as an excuse for him. You just can't, because elite quarterbacks overcome this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
We need Broderick on the sideline. That's all I know.
Yeah,
but you can't.
You can't put, because there's too many injuries. Mr. Vlang, 75, first time super chat. Let's give Mr. Vlang some love. Says, let's just do the Ric Flair drip here first. Woo, that sucked. Some Ric Flair drip. Woo! He says, I wouldn't start Russ until the line is healthy or until we start losing, of course. I actually think this is a really good point, Mr. Vlang. I think that the offensive line argument with Frazier out of the lineup is a coherent argument. It is. Does Fields' pocket presence help with this offensive line? No, but Russ would still be under pressure a lot. as well. So it's like pick your poison with Zach Frazier out, honestly. But like we said, Dan Moore Jr.'s playing well. Sayamalu's playing well. McCormick's playing solid football. We'll see what their plan is at center now.
Yeah.
Like, are they going to...
It can't be McCollum, right?
Are they going to move McCollum at center? Are they going to play McCollum at center this week? Are they going to move Mason McCormick again to center? And then plug in Spencer Anderson? Like, Spencer's played with this team this season. So I feel like you got to find a way to get him on the field. McCollum was not fantastic yesterday. So... I understand that argument, Mr. Vlang. You know, until Frazier's back healthy, maybe you want a guy in Fields that can create more outside of structure. Makes perfect sense to me. No, Sam, I need you to do 5 VODs with me right now. Yeah, I know.
Bye, Sam.
Bye, Sam. Appreciate you. $2 super chat from Trade Rolly 4.
Always good to hear from intern Sam.
Intern Sam says, agree, he held the ball, but DJ Moore was top 10 receiver. Yeah. I think he was close to top 10. He was top 10 in production last year. I don't know if you want to pull up his numbers, just on Pro Football Reference or something. But DJ Moore was incredible last year. And to Fields' credit, he got him the football. Like, that connection that Fields had with Moore is kind of what I was hoping the connection with George Pickens was going to be.
DJ Moore had a great year. He had 96 catches for 1,300 yards and 8 tutties.
So I wouldn't necessarily say he had no help in Chicago. Plus, Darnell Mooney.
He's all right.
He's a number 2. He's a solid number 2.
He's playing well for Atlanta, isn't he?
He's playing okay.
Yeah.
And then you had Cole Kmet, a really solid receiving tight end.
Yep. He had weapons.
Listen, man, like as long as you literally don't have nobody like the Las Vegas Raiders, like I can give Aiden O'Connell a little bit of a pass because he literally only had Brock Bowers. But like people talk about the Steelers' weapons.
Jacoby Myers doesn't do it for you?
I mean, he's all right. But like people talk about the Steelers' weapons right now as if they have literally nobody to throw to.
It's just not true.
And it's just not true.
Yeah.
George Pickens is still a very talented receiver, as frustrating as he is as a personality to deal with. Calvin Austin III is getting open a lot.
This is a crazy one from Elevate.
Elevate LT is coming in with a 5. Says Fields sucks in the passing game. Let's face it. He honestly a cheap version of Lamar Jackson.
Well, Lamar Jackson won 2 MVPs, so if he's a cheap version of that, then I think I'm all right.
Honestly, you can make an argument he's a better rusher than Lamar.
You could!
Because he's got the size.
The most valuable rushing quarterback in football last year was?
Sam Howell.
I thought it was Justin.
So 2 years ago, Justin Fields was the most valuable rusher of the football, period, in the National Football League. Last year, he dealt with some injuries, so he kind of limited his running a bit last year, but still had some great plays with his legs, of course. Last year was actually Sam Howell that led the league in points above replacement as a rushing quarterback
Sam
last
Howell
year.
might be learning his trade in Canada before too long.
Yeah, he stinks. I think this is an interesting comment here. Sucks in the passing game. Because here's the thing with Fields in the passing game, man. I kind of agree with that statement just because of the last 2 weeks. But he's also had good games, right? We have to acknowledge that he had a really good game against the Chargers. He put the team on his back against the Colts in week 4, nearly led them back after a slow start. So Fields has had his moments where it's like, I understand why the Fields people are like, don't give up on him, man. This guy's really talented. You don't want to give up on a kid this talented this early. I understand it, man. But I'm also a little bit concerned about the nuanced stuff that's lacking in his game. Vic Clapper, my favorite name in the entire Steelers nation. First time super chatter. So let's give him some Rick Flair. Woo! And he says, trade Alex Highsmith for a first and a second for Crosby and Adams. No. Listen, man.
Smitty, a 1 and a 2 for Crosby and Adams.
Here's an interesting idea, though.
I'd do it.
Here's an interesting idea. Next offseason, Steelers might be looking to unload some of the money that they're spending on defense. Do they consider trading Alex Highsmith next year? Because you have Nick Herbig on a rookie contract.
But we're seeing right now that you kind of need all three because what if one of them gets hurt? Then the other one gets
I think
hurt.
it was Andrew Filipponi said, would you hypothetically take a first-round pick from Detroit if they wanted Alex Highsmith? For me personally, I'm saying no. Here's why I'm saying no to that question. You need the Steelers defense to be dominant this year.
Yeah, and you're competing for a playoff spot, and Alex Highsmith is a big part of that. I'm not doing it.
Now, next offseason,
in the offseason, I might do it.
When you have an opportunity to sign or draft another legit third edge rusher to play behind Herbig.
And you can retool the offense.
Exactly. You open up a ton of cap space to fill out with offensive talent. Honestly, I love Smitty. Don't get me wrong, man. He's such a perfect fit for the Steelers defense. I'd hate to see him go, but it's like, if the Steelers want to get serious about balancing the scales in terms of how much money they're spending on offense versus how much money they're spending on defense, somebody's going to have to go. And if there's one person that can potentially go,
it's probably Highsmith.
Especially if you're getting a first-round pick for him, especially if you're getting a high second-round draft pick for him.
Because they're not trading Minka. They're not trading Cam Hayward. I mean, yeah.
If they can get a good replacement for Minka, I'd be open to trading him.
I would, but
I know a lot of Steelers fans. I know it's a hot take. That's a hot take for sure. But he hasn't been the same Minka this year, in my opinion.
He's just such a staple for the Steelers that it would be hard to trade him. But
yeah, I agree. And plus, he's such a good leader in the locker room. Yeah, so I would say Smitty would probably be the more likely trade candidate. To be clear, I don't think they're going to trade him this season. I don't either. And I don't think they should trade him this season. But next offseason is definitely an interesting conversation. We don't have any more here?
We do not.
Darwin Nolan says, that's not a hot take. That's dumb. Fair enough, Darwin. Maybe it is dumb, man. Like, maybe giving up a really good edge rusher in Alex Highsmith is dumb. Maybe it is, man. I'm just saying that if Steelers fans want to put their money where their mouth is and want to balance out the scales of offensive spending versus defensive spending, you're going to have to trade a big contract.
It would be a real shame if a Devontae Adams trade happened tomorrow.
It'd be a shame.
That would suck.
How great would it be if you go into the Raiders building, have your fan base invade their stadium, we beat them by 19 points, and then we poach them of their best player for a third-round pick?
That would be elite. I would love that.
Omar, get it done,
Get it done, Omar.
Let's go. Darwin says, not a question of money. Fair enough, man. I love Smitty, too. I'm not necessarily saying the Steelers should do it. I'm just saying that if they do want to balance the scales, Highsmith would probably be the first name that would be coming up. At least in my opinion. I don't know. But they love Smitty.
They love him.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they just end up keeping him and they just... Because listen, man, what team are we talking about here, Coop?
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
We're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. What do the Steelers like to spend money on?
Quarterbacks. Defense.
All right, so do I really think the Steelers are going to make it a high priority to balance out the offensive and defensive spending? No. I think that they're going to go into next season and Smitty's going to be on the team. I just think it's an interesting idea. That's just me, though. All right, that'll be it for today's show, guys. Thank you so much for all the conversation. This was a lot of fun today, talking some Steelers football with you guys. We'll be back on Thursday for another edition of Steelers Talk Live. We got a bunch of great stuff coming your way tomorrow. Before we say goodbye, though, Steelers Country 422. $5 Super Chat coming in. As long as the Super Chats keep rolling, man, we'll stay live.
Doesn't even fit on screen.
Says, I think he's talking about trading Alex and a first and second, and we get Crosby and Adams. Oh, so he's talking about that being a ridiculous idea. I think he might be saying that too. I agree. If Darwin, if you were saying that was a crazy idea, I agree. That's a crazy idea. I don't think you need to do that if you're the Steelers. Appreciate you, Steelers Country, for the clarification. Did we just get a $1, $2 Super Chat?
Trade Rolly.
Another one from Trade Rolly.
This is crazy.
So Trade Rolly says, trade for Tyreek Hill. If he demands a trade, and by the way, anything can happen, but he just signed, didn't he just sign, just last year, he signed a massive extension. Still has, 3 years left on his deal? Like, the price to get a guy like this would be at least 2 first-round picks.
Cassie says check Cashapp.
Cashapp?
Yep.
Let's see. Oh. Remember when you said I forgot a Venmo?
Yeah. You did.
I did.
I told you.
I missed multiple of them. I think I have my ringer off, which is why I missed it. So we actually have multiple Venmos to get to here. So sorry about that. If you Venmoed and we haven't put it up on screen yet, my apologies. We're gonna get you guys figured out here.
Don't you worry.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no!
Did you get those, or do I need to send them again?
Resend them.
I just sent it into the entire chat sports chat how much money people are sending in right now.
Good. They should know.
They should know. Steelers on top. Then we have this one. There you go. All right. So we'll get to these cash apps here. They're actually cash apps. We'll get to these here in just a second. Finish up today's show. If you guys have a question, a comment, you want to call me an idiot, send in a super chat. We'll put you up on screen.
I'll do that for free.
Oh, yeah. Coop can do it for free. All right, baby. This one's rolling in from Alexander Watson. Bang!
Oh, no.
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Let's go, baby. Alexander Watson with a $100 super chat.
Woo!
Or Venmo, I should say. That's great stuff there, Alexander. Appreciate you, my man. Let's go. Everybody spam Alex, 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 Alex. And you know what? For good measure, let's get one of these, Coop. F the Raiders. F the Raiders. F the Raiders. Let's go, baby. Alexander Watson coming in. Woo! Gary Frank says, Black Diamond Club, is it combined donation or one single? Can be combined. Just $500 on a single show. All right. $10 super chat from Gary Frank. $10 cash app. Gary, appreciate you. Let's see if he sent a message in that one.
We need to investigate your cord after this, Spare Dog. You're cutting out a little bit.
Am I cutting out?
A little bit.
Am I okay?
You're good. I don't know what it's doing, but we'll take a look.
So apparently somebody's saying they sent a Venmo to me. I'm checking right now. Somebody said they sent a $50 Venmo to me. That's just not the case. My Venmo balance is zero.
Zero.
So if somebody sent me something on Venmo, if you want to show my Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal.
I will. We got a 2 from Colton, though, and he says, is Alex Highsmith playing this week?
There's a chance, Colton. There's a chance. I think it was Jerry Dulac said that the timetable they were shooting for return for this week. So we'll see, if he's a full participant this week, whether he can play or not. Certainly seems like he's on track to do so, though. If you guys want to send in a donation via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, that's where you guys can find me. For whoever's claiming they put in a $50 Venmo, it's just not the case. There's no Venmo in my account right now. So if you guys want to send it to my Venmo, there's where you can find me, at Jack-Sperry. Money Sign Captain Jack 19 on Cash App, or at Captain Jack Rabbit on PayPal. Trade Rolly 4 says Pickens for Hill with a second and a future fourth. I mean, deal. I mean, if that's all you want for Tyreek Hill, I am pulling the trigger on that, Trade Rolly 4. Get Rolly on the phone, man. I want to make this trade right now. Get Tyreek Hill in the Steelers uniform for the next 3+ years. You guys can pay George Pickens.
You guys also have to take AB, though.
Yeah, AB. Nice. $5 here from Derek. What's up, Derek? Says you have to sign Fields long term. He is a whole lot of talent and not very old. You can coach Fields, but Russ is 1 or 2 years max. Short fix. Yeah, man. So, Derek, I think that right now they're trying out Fields here. They're trying to see if he has what it takes to be a starting quarterback long-term for this team. I think he has the physical traits and ability to make it happen. And I think that he's actually gotten incrementally better as a passer every year. The question is it good enough overall to warrant a long-term contract? Right now, I still see a lot of problems with Fields' game in terms of his quarterbacking, in terms of footwork, in terms of pocket presence, in terms of decision-making, in terms of vision, in terms of accuracy. He's lacking in all of the little nuances that, many just regular football fans who watch the NFL every week just don't see, right? What they see is the big arm. They see the crazy arm talent. They see the incredible plays where he's elevating the offense with his legs, right? Those are the things that are so easy to see, and I think that's why Fields has so many believers, and rightfully so. I mean, that potential, could land him if he develops as a quarterback, as a top 5 QB in this league and a future MVP. But he has to develop, and now we're in year 4, all right? We're not in year 1 or year 2. We're in year 4 of his career, and he's still dealing with many of the same issues from a nuance standpoint at the position, which gives me pause about giving him a long-term contract at a large dollar figure. If he continues to develop as the season goes on, I think the Steelers are going to address it in the offseason. And if Fields earns that contract, I have no problem giving it to him. But right now, I'm probably leaning towards no on giving him a long-term contract. That's just me personally, though. Trade Rolly 4 says sign Fields for at least 3 years, $110 million, guarantee 60. Whew. So that's quite a bit of dough, man. He has to earn it. If he earns it, 100% I'm cool doing that, Trade Rolly 4, 150%. Over the last 2 weeks, he hasn't been playing like that kind of quarterback. So I guess we'll see what he does the rest of the season. I certainly have an open mind to whatever he shows us in the box score and in the film. So I guess we'll see how he plays the rest of the year. All right, man. So is that it now?
That is it.
All right, we're going to say goodbye here. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. I know that maybe not all of us agree on everything right now, this whole Russell Wilson, Justin Fields thing.
But this is America.
It's a very contentious issue. But you know what, man? We all fight for the same team here. There's no Team Russ or Team Fields. We're all Steelers fans here, and I want to emphasize that to provide some perspective. We all want the best for this football team, no matter what quarterback you think is the better option for the team moving forward. Everybody wants the best for this football team, all right? So I want you guys to stay respectful, to stay cordial, love each other. ELE, everybody love everybody in Steeler Nation, all right? That's what I want everybody to do. I appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys on Thursday for Steelers Talk Live. And until then, here we go, Steelers.